Welcome to your City Commission meeting. Please turn off or silence all cell phones during this meeting. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. and midnight, available for viewing on YouTube. So at this time, I'll call to order the meeting, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and followed by the silent meditation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, in continuing Mayor Wilson's tradition of Mayor Awards, I'm going to bring those back in 2025, and so we'll start off with first Mayor's Award. So if I could have Heather meet me at the podium, please. Welcome. How are you? I'm good. Are you excited?
That'll be a surprise.
I'm excited for you. Well, tonight I would like to give the Mayor Award to Heather Bees, LLC. This Mayor's Award is for your community service. And we proudly, the City of Leavenworth, present this to our local restaurant, Heather Bees, LLC, which went above and beyond during the recent major snowstorm by providing food and coffee to street crews who were tirelessly plowing snow all night. This generous act not only nourished the hardworking teams, but also fostered a sense of community, which we need more of, and support in difficult times, exemplifying the spirit of local businesses giving back to our community. So on behalf of the City of Leavenworth, I want to thank you for your generous contribution to our city crews and contractors in a time of need, and thank you so much. And this award is proudly presented to you for that. So thank you so much, Heather.
Yeah, sure. I just want to say thank you so much for this. Yeah,
YouTube world.
Thank you guys so much. My cook, Austin, his girlfriend, Alyssa, helped me. And his fiance helped me. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. And it's important to me that we all know that we're all in this world together. And we have to help one another out. And in Kansas City, you have the option of being somewhere 24 hours. In Leavenworth, we don't have that option. So I know other businesses can be open when I cannot. So therefore, they got the help they needed, and you guys got the help that you needed through the middle of the night. And I will always be here to do that for you. So thank you guys so much. Thank you.
The next award tonight goes to Griff Martin, if you want to come down here. I know that we thanked you last time, but it wasn't official, so tonight I want to give you your official thank you for your service over the past year. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. This is your official, look at this, official plaque with your gavel that you can hang. And then, of course, is this for, okay. So thank you so much for your service. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Speech.
All right. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor Pittman. Appreciate that, and definitely thank you to my commission team in the City of Leavenworth. It was really a cool experience getting to work with so many different folks. Last year, we've got a very dynamic team, I believe, and I think that's a great thing, in our city politics. And definitely, I will say, highlight of last year was being able to work with some of the international officers that came in. That event we had, it was kind of a highlight there, and then working through a lot of things with you, Scott, and just everybody. Everybody's been. Since I've been here in the city, I've been just completely surprised at how responsive everybody and the administrative staff has been, and so definitely appreciate all that. But yeah, this is very nice.
Thank you so much. I love serving with you and getting to know you. So
well, same here. Thanks so much.
Cool.
Awesome. What a way to start off the night, the new year. So awesome. All right, old business. Consideration of previous meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024 regular meeting. I'll just make a motion to approve those.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the minutes from December 10th, 2024 regular meeting.
Second.
All right, it's been, okay, we'll start voting with Commissioner Hingla.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right. Second consideration ordinances, this is for the ordinance number 8255, amending Article 1 and 2 of Chapter 38 of the Code Ordinance. This will be a roll call vote.
Wait, we do. See if there's any changes or anything.
We have not made any changes to that ordinance.
Okay. All right, nothing? All right, well, we'll begin roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Martin.
Commissioner Martin, aye.
Bowder, aye.
Pittman, aye.
Wilson, aye.
Hingula, aye.
All right, motion passes 5-0. All right, new business, and time for public comment. Public comment is limited to 2 or 3 minutes, and no action will be taken by the commission on public comment items. Please state your name and your address. A sign-up sheet will be provided in the chambers. Has anyone signed up for?
We do have one, Mr. Louis Clem.
Okay.
Enjoy watching these young people back here doing something for the system, that's always nice. Well, I need 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I think. Louis Clem, 1816 Pine Ridge Drive, Leavenworth, Kansas. Never been inside the prison walls other than visit. First thing, a lot of people contact me on the mayors. We got a new mayor, I heard. And I have a lot of people that they don't understand why we can't vote on a mayor. And I said, all you gotta do is get the law passed. They'd rather have you here 2 years or 4 years, 2 or 4 years. They don't like having a mayor changing, they want somebody to communicate with. That's item 1. I listen to a lot of old music. But your Channel 2 has been the best Channel 2 and the best station for years now. You know what they're playing? Bluegrass. Oh my God. Most people don't know what bluegrass is. But it's been a wonderful station. I haven't even been watching, what's that guy's name? Can't think on Fox. I'm watching bluegrass because they play a lot of music for you. Number 3, presentation by the 453 superintendent said in the last 2 years they've lost 10% students. They're going to be 5 million short. And my thought process is the schools, Lansing and Leavenworth and Easton, the ones down the south, they got plenty of money coming in because they're really building $1 million homes and doing a lot of things. But I think that you guys need to be meeting with the county to discuss how you can save and protect money that is somehow being used that shouldn't be used. Now, the county blames the legislature. I don't know who you blame, but if you find out that there's something that you can do, and the schools find out that there's something they can do, and they can all work together, and maybe we can get everything resolved. It's a great possibility, but you have to want to do it, and you have to want to meet with people. And the 4th one is laws. I've found out that I'm the #1 characteristic in town. I don't know what that middle finger means. Does anybody know what that means? I have guys pass me, and I'm going 40, and they're going 60 miles an hour. I don't know why the city doesn't enforce the laws. Because when we have people that are going to get, we've had them get smashed. I don't know why, if somebody gets killed, it's going to be very sad for the city of Leavenworth. There's nobody that respects the law when it comes to driving. 7 times I've almost been hit on Pine Ridge Drive, going up 20th Street. That is bad. And twice I've been told I'm the #1. They use the middle finger for #1, I always use the index finger. You need to get something passed to whoever enforces the laws, if there is anybody that will ever enforce the laws, there is a danger, and it's not worth it to have somebody die because we're not enforcing the laws. And I know you guys can do it, and you should want to do it. Thank you very much, appreciate it. You have a good night. Good 2 year, no, it's 1 year, isn't it, Holly? Yeah.
Okay, mayor appointments. So since do I have to make the motion because it's me? Okay. All right, so, so do we want to do these all separately or do we want to do them all as a one swift motion?
Generally, it's one big consolidated motion.
Are you guys okay with all together?
Yeah.
Okay. So I, Mayor Pittman, move to reappoint to the Airport Advisory Board Keith Baker and William Kidder to terms ending December 31st, 2027, and appoint Mark Morgan to terms ending December 31st, 2027. To reappoint to the Convention and Tourism Committee George Marchek, James Light, Marion Tennant, Susie Young to terms ending January 31st, 2028, and appoint Donna Jean Fletcher and Haley Shaw to terms ending January 31st, 2028. To reappoint to the Deer Management Advisory Committee Dan Nicodemus, Tom Wells, and Lloyd Yonts to a term ending December 31st, 2027, and appoint Amy Kenkelfitz. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome, to a term ending December 31st, 2017. Appoint to the Leavenworth Planning
2027.
Commission Sam Maxwell IV to an unexpired term ending May 1st, 2026. To reappoint to the Parks and Community Activities Board Shelley Cannon, Kara McDaniel, and Jeff Porter to terms ending January 15th, 2028. And to reappoint to the Sister City Advisory Board Kelly Butler, Georgia Moore, Alyssa Murphy, to a term ending December 31st, 2027. It does require a second and a vote by the governing body.
A second.
Second?
Yeah.
All right. So then we'll begin voting with our Commissioner Pingala.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, consideration amendment to fee city schedule.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, before you this evening is an amendment to the city fee schedule. Back up about 5 minutes ago when we approved the second consideration ordinance for ordinance 8255, which is the changes to the trash section that included that language about the owner, renter, or range of carts. Now that that is passed, we can add that fee for that owner damage replacement fee to the fee schedule. So that is what's before you this evening for approval for an effective date as of tomorrow, January 15th, 2025.
Any questions? All right, I'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
We need a motion.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I move to
Sorry.
approve the amendment to the fee schedule.
Second.
All right, now we can begin voting.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, update on unsafe or dangerous fire damage structure at 3851 Tonganoxie Drive.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Hello.
Good evening.
As you stated, this is an update of the fire damage structure at 3851 Tonganoxie Drive. The structure was damaged back in May of last year. In September, the City Commission approved a resolution giving them 90 days to do repairs. They have made progress, but they have not gotten to the point where staff is comfortable recommending that the Commission release the funds yet. I have spoken with the contractor. They say another 60 days they should be done, so that's kind of what I'm recommending.
Does anyone have questions?
No, I drive by that repair job just about 2 or 3 times every day. And yeah, it's been slow, but I think the idea is that it's been thorough. They did the home part first, as I recall, so that they could move back in. And then they've been putting the garage together, built right onto it.
The house, there's no electrical, mechanical, or plumbing ready in the house yet.
In the home? No.
Correct. So that's why I don't
Yeah.
recommend we release the funds yet.
Yeah, kind of
They are
like
working in that direction.
Yeah.
looks like that.
So they want another 60 days.
That's
So
what I
okay.
recommend. They say they're supposed to be done by the end of February, but I figure 60 days at this point. So.
So we'll just need someone to.
Now, Madam Mayor, I move that the city commission allow the owner and contractor to have additional time to make repairs, not to exceed 60 days.
A second.
Okay. All right, we begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Motion passes. All right, bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider the award of bid for 4th Street Improvement Project, the Reese Street to Popular Street.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. This item is to consider a construction contract with J.M. Fahey for the 4th Street improvements from Reese to Poplar. This project is part of the KDOT City Connecting Link Improvement Program for Surface Preservation. In April of 2023, the city submitted an application to KDOT for a mill and overlay project on 4th Street between Reese and Poplar. This is the area where Tire Town and Ablesfield is. KDOT notified the city in September of 2023 that our project was selected for funding. This project is a cost share program with KDOT covering 85% of eligible costs and with city share at 15%. The surface preservation projects are a little bit different from other Bureau of Local Projects managed programs. These projects are managed by the city and led by the city. Since the project is city-led, the plans were prepared according to city criteria. This does eliminate a number of steps that are required for KDOT-administered projects. This project consists of a mill and overlay, localized base repairs, spot curb and sidewalk replacement, along with needed ADA ramp upgrades. The project plan, specification, and location map were developed by city staff and JEO Consulting. The project was advertised for bid, and bids were opened on December 12th. City received 5 bids, with the low bid from J.M. Fahey. The City Commission generally awards a contract to the lowest bidder if the bid is less than the engineer's estimate and whose evaluation by the city indicates the award will be in the best interest of the city. There were 5 responsive bidders, and the low bid from Fahey was under the engineer's estimate. The maximum KDOT contribution will be $400,000. The remaining cost for construction, plus any non-participating items like construction inspection, will be covered by the grant matching fund. A separate contract for construction inspection will be submitted for review and approval at a later date. Staff does recommend the City Commission authorize the mayor to sign a construction contract with J.M. Fahey for improvements to K7 4th Street from Reese to Poplar in the amount of $455,987.75. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Sounds good.
Do you know when the construction can begin?
Actually, we got notified from KDOT to go ahead and award the project. We've talked to Fahey about it. Their asphalt plant's don't open probably till mid-March. They're looking at possibly as early as the 1st of March to start the concrete work, and then follow on that with the asphalt work. But it will be sometime, we hope, this spring.
Okay, so a ballpark prediction when we have the whole thing done?
Justin, are we 60 days on this project? 90 days. 90 days on the project.
Okay.
So if we start in mid-March, April, May, June,
Sure.
sometime in June, we'll be
Yeah.
done.
And is that going to require closing down 4th Street and detouring?
No.
No? Okay.
We'll always
Thank you.
maintain at least one lane
One
of
lane.
traffic in each direction.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I'll take a motion.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the construction services contract with J.M. Fahey for the improvements of K7 4th Street from Reese to Poplar in the amount not to exceed $455,987.75.
Second.
All right. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, next up. You're going to be here for a while, huh? Consider award of bid for 20th and Seneca from Storm Repairs Project.
Again, this item is to consider possible award of construction services contract with Lina Weaver Construction for the 20th and Seneca storm repairs. If you've driven 20th lately, in the last several years, you'll see orange fence on the west side of the street right there at Seneca around the curb inlet. The curb inlet located at that corner experienced an inlet wall failure several years ago. The inlet constructed of bricks and blocks partially collapsed, causing a small sinkhole in front of the structure. As a result, the city placed orange fencing around the failure to help protect drivers and pedestrians in the area. In 2023, the city contracted with BG Consultants to design repairs at this location. The project consists of replacing a storm line and inlet structure, localized full-depth base repairs, spot curb and sidewalk replacement, along with any needed ADA upgrades at that intersection. The new line will cross 20th Street, so there will be localized short-duration lane closures during the project. Project plan and specifications were developed by city staff and BG Consultants. The project was advertised for bid, and bids were opened on December 12th of 2024. We actually had 7 companies bid the project, which was great. Based on the final bids, Lina Weaver Construction was identified as the lowest qualified bid, and Lina Weaver has completed a number of projects here in the city of Leavenworth. The cost for the contract is $135,465. The Stormwater Capital Projects Fund, the orange fence projects, will be used to cover this expense. City staff will inspect the project. The staff does recommend that the City Commission authorize the mayor to sign a construction services contract with Lina Weaver Construction for the 20th and Seneca storm repairs in the amount of $135,465. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
And Lina Weaver is here this evening if you have any questions for them.
No questions here?
All right, I'll take a motion.
I move that the City Commission authorize the mayor to sign a construction services contract with Lina Weaver Construction for the 20th and Seneca storm repairs in an amount not to exceed $135,465.
Second.
All right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengler.
Aye.
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, consider bids for Water Pollution Control Division 2025 chemical purchase.
This item this evening is to consider approval of bids for the purchase of chemicals used in the operation and maintenance of our wastewater treatment plant. Tim, our superintendent's here tonight to answer any questions that you may have. These chemicals are used for a variety of processes at our treatment plant. A summary of the uses is as shown below in your policy report. We use hydrogen peroxide, which is injected into the raw sludge line before the belt press. We use sodium hypochlorite and sodium hydroxide. We use ferrous chloride, and we use a polymer as a coagulating agent. The 2025 budget includes $100,000 for the purchase of chemicals for the wastewater treatment plant. The higher cost over previous years is in anticipation of a new screw press, which uses more polymer than the existing press. Staff recommends approval by the City Commission of the low bids for the chemicals shown. Total cost based on the anticipated quantities is $88,790.10, but staff request award of the low bids with a total chemical cost not to exceed $100,000. This will help account for unknowns with the new press. And Tim and I can answer any questions you may have.
Chemical questions.
No.
No questions here.
Any chemistries?
We did this
I'm a
last year and the
chemist,
year
I don't
before
know
and the
what
year
to talk
before
about.
that.
I do know somewhat, but no questions, thank you.
All right. Well, we can take a motion.
I move to approve the Water Pollution Control Division 2025 chemical purchase.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. All right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, consider supplement design services contract for Viola Street Sidewalk Improvement Project.
This project's been ongoing for quite a while.
Yeah.
This item is to consider a supplemental agreement with Bartlett and West for additional sanitary and storm design, along with easement acquisition associated with the Viola Street project. The city of Leavenworth submitted 2 TA grant applications to KDOT in 2022 for sidewalk and ADA improvements along Violas. The first was between 10th and 20th, and the second one was from 20th to 22nd. During the review process, KDOT requested the 2 projects be combined into one larger project. The Viola Street project was selected to receive federal funds from the TA program in July of 2022. The total estimated cost for construction of the project is about $1.6 million, with the federal award of $1.26 million, 80%, and the local share of around $316,000 or 20%. The federal TA funding is only available for construction and construction inspection. The city is financially responsible for preliminary engineering, right-of-way acquisition, and utility relocation. The City Commission approved the original contract with Bartlett & West for design services during the January 10th, 2023 meeting in the amount of $198,666. In August of 23, the Commission approved supplemental services number 1 in the amount of $40,158 for additional design work. After supplemental number 1 was approved, staff did request that a redesign at the west end of the project that would extend the sanitary sewer across Violas to the north to allow future connections on the north side of the roadway. This also involved changes to curb and driveways in the area. The cost associated with supplement number 2 is $9,676. While city staff, our engineer, and our right-of-way acquisition consultant have worked diligently to obtain all needed easements, there are properties where acquisition is not possible except through condemnation. To avoid the condemnation and meet the spring 2025 bidding timeframe set by KDOT, staff asked that Bartlett & West redesign several areas of the project to eliminate the need for several easements. To keep the project moving forward, Bartlett & West completed the redesign that was requested by city staff. The cost for supplemental 3 is a not to exceed amount of $25,605. Staff does not feel any additional supplemental agreements associated with design will be required. The cost for the additional services, both supplemental 2 and 3, is a not to exceed amount of $35,281 and will be funded through grant matching funds. Staff recommends approval of the additional design services with Bartlett & West for the Viola Street ADA and sidewalk upgrades project in an amount not to exceed $35,281. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just maybe one question, Madam Mayor. Mr. Faust, just out of curiosity and more for informational purposes, Bartlett & West, you like working with them okay? I mean, any reason specifically?
No, they're a good firm to work with. Mm-hmm. We had actually gone out in 2022 for on-call engineering services. We sent out an RFP for that. We had 7 firms respond, Bartlett & West being one of those firms, and they were one of the 4 firms that we selected for on-call engineering services. I worked with them in Topeka. They're a good firm.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah.
And we don't expect any more changes after this?
Now, basically, the design is done. We should get our right-of-way packet from our acquisition specialist later this week. And that way we can go through that. And KDOT will need a particular form. It's a right-of-way clearance form before we can bid the project. And once that's in, we're ready to go.
Okay. Any other questions?
No questions.
All right. Okay, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the additional design services with Bartlett & West for the Viola Street ADA and sidewalk upgrades project in an amount not to exceed $35,281.
Second.
All right. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hingla.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right. Consider supplemental design service contract for the downtown ADA intersection ramp
my
project.
last one tonight.
Last one.
This is to consider that supplemental design with Wilson and Company. The update is required to satisfy KDOT design requirements for the Transportation Alternatives or TA program. The city of Leavenworth worked with Wilson and Company to design ADA accessible ramps in our downtown. Project limits are Choctaw on the south, Seneca to the north, Esplanade on the east, and Broadway to the west. Project was designed as a city-let project with 100% city funding for construction. The original design budget was $39,750. After design was complete, the city was notified that KDOT was taking applications for fiscal year 2026 Transportation Alternatives Program. The city submitted a project to KDOT, and in October of 2024, we were notified that the downtown ADA sidewalk ramp improvement project was awarded $629,750 in funding. While the city will be paying for the design, construction costs are covered at 100%.
That's good.
So no matching funds required.
Yes.
As the plans were designed for a city-led project, Wilson and Company submitted a supplemental design services agreement to update the plans and specifications for KDOT standards. The cost for this additional work is $30,000. The cost will be funded from either a sidewalk and curb project or from the grant matching fund. Supplemental design service agreement 1 is in the amount not to exceed the $30,000. So we recommend approval of supplement 1 with Wilson and Company for the downtown ADA intersection ramp project in an amount not to exceed $30,000. KDOT requires that all the plan sheets be set a certain way. They require a certain level of surveying, which was not done with a city project. So that's why the additional money.
So all these red dots are gonna be fixed, or, okay.
There's a lot of red dots.
Yeah, there are a lot of red dots.
We'd actually program that to do that in like 7 phases,
Oh, wow.
just because the cost is significant to do that.
So
So
this
this way
is-
we can knock them all out in one whack, so.
This is great.
Every block. Almost every block.
What's the time frame?
Well, it's a 2026 project.
Yeah.
It takes roughly 14 months to go through the KDOT process. And so this will be let sometime in probably the spring of 2026.
Okay. Yeah, this is exciting. Any other questions from the commission? All right, I'll just take a motion.
I move approval of the supplement design services agreement, number 1, with Wilson Company for the downtown ADA intersection ramp project in an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Yep, second.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll be voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Good job on that grant. All right, first consideration ordinance. First consideration ordinance for special use permit to allow 2-family dwelling at 724 Potawatomi Street.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Pleasure to be here with you tonight. So we have 6 items coming up from the Planning Commission agenda. These are all related, so a little bit of background on these applications. DePaul Inc. applied for and received a grant from the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation in order to do some affordable housing development, and these applications are a result of that. So they are requesting today to build a duplex in the R16 zoning district, which does require a special use permit. This went to Planning Commission on December 2nd and did receive approval 5-0. There was no public comment. The lot itself is currently vacant but was previously a fourplex. And that is all I have for you on this one.
Do you guys have any questions about 724 Potawatomi?
No.
I'm definitely excited.
Okay.
Just one.
Yeah.
All right.
Just one.
One question?
It says here, currently the property is a vacant lot. The proposed 2-family dwelling will bring tax revenue to the city with the improved value of the property, as well as provide a needed housing option for Leavenworth residents. It'll be owned by DePaul, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it possible, DePaul does a lot of great work. I've looked at DePaul in pretty good depth in the past. Is it possible that they're going to turn around, that DePaul may turn around and apply and be granted a tax exempt status so that we won't be getting any tax value?
Commissioner Hengula, Sister Amy is here. She may be able to answer that question more directly. That'd be great,
Come
yeah.
up. Yeah. You can come up and sit here if you want.
Sure.
Next to her. We can see you better.
Thank you.
Hi, Sister Amy.
Hello.
It's good to see you again.
Certainly, thank you. certainly what we try to do is help the individuals that we're housing. We are a not-for-profit, and I know that some not-for-profits are tax exempt, and we are to a certain degree. But right now, currently on all of our properties, we do pay taxes. It would be my desire to apply, is there some way that we don't, honestly? Because that takes our finances away from really helping the people maintain their homes in our program.
How likely is it that you will become a tax exempt not-for-profit?
Well, we are a tax exempt not-profit, but to the degree that we would apply for or receive, that we don't pay property tax,
Is that
It's
just
different.
churches?
Property tax and income tax taxes are different.
Right.
You can be a not-for-profit exempt use, but if the property is not used for an exempt use, then it is still taxable. As an example, there are cities around here that own real property, but because they are not used for municipal purposes, maybe they're holding it for some reason or others, it is not exempt unless the property is actually used for a tax exempt use. I'm not in a position to tell you right now whether this use, given the types of programs that this would be utilized, would be exempt or not. But there is a difference between, even if you are a tax exempt entity as the owner, and the use of the property, there's a little bit of apples and oranges. It may be a factor that goes into whether a property tax, but it's not automatic.
Okay.
Could you give me an example of a nonprofit besides a church that would have not pay property taxes?
Oh, I mean, I'll give you a good example that there are an area that I work in quite a bit. There are hospitals or universities, for example, that might build a building and lease space in it to a for-profit entity. And even though the owner of the ground in those situations might be a not-for-profit because the property is being used to the generation of rent and for a tenant in the building that is a for-profit entity as a tenant, not an owner, then those properties could be on the tax roll because it's not exclusively used for a tax-exempt purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. That's a good question. All right. Any other questions? All right, well, I'll just take a motion for
Consensus.
a consensus. Do we
This is
agree?
Yes.
first consideration. Yeah.
We
Yes.
all consensus?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's move on to 724 Osage Street then.
Okay, 724 Osage Street is a similar situation, so it's part of the same packaging. Again, they're applying for a special use permit to allow a two-family dwelling unit in the R16 zoning district. This lot is also vacant. It previously housed a single-family home. Now it's vacant.
Are we all under consensus
Yep.
with this one? Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner
All these properties in this neighborhood, there are a lot of duplexes in these neighborhoods, just so you know.
There's a lot of
It's not
empty lots.
anything,
Yeah.
we're just doing a rezoning, so.
Right.
This applicant previously constructed a similar
Right.
property.
Nice place.
Okay, so
First
this
one.
one would be first consideration to rezone 701 Potawatomi Street from office business district to high-density, single-family residential district.
Correct. So in this situation, the zoning does not allow for a duplex. So the applicant has requested to rezone to that R16 zoning district, which would then allow them to apply for the special use permit, which is the following item on the agenda tonight. This lot is also vacant, and by allowing the rezoning would allow the special use permit.
Which would allow the duplex.
Correct.
Okay. Consensus?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Let's move on to the special use permit then to allow for 701 Potawatomi Street. We,
Yeah.
with the
yes.
special
Yes.
permit? Okay. We're just kind of stair-stepping this guy, sorry.
Yeah.
So now we're at the first consideration for special use permit to allow a two-family dwelling at 711 Ottawa. Are we still comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. And
Good with
then, the last one is first consideration to rezone 711 Ottawa Street from office business district to high-density, single-family residential, kind of the same as above, right?
Exactly.
Okay, just different address, very
Made them
good.
job easy.
Okay, yeah, okay, well,
There is one more. We didn't go, I don't believe we went
No, we
over
got-
724 Osage.
Oh, it's not on my agenda.
we got
Yeah,
724.
I was
Osage.
about to wonder, I didn't hear that one come for a consensus, at
Which
least on my
one?
list.
724?
Number 14. Osage.
Oh,
I thought we did that one.
Okay,
I know it came up, but I never
Yes.
heard that.
It's in the agenda on page 55.
yeah.
Oh, it's not in here?
Well, it is, but it's,
It's,
yeah.
I guess it's not listed on the,
It is listed.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's item number 14.
Item number.
Oh,
Okay,
it is
yeah.
14, because I crossed it off, 724 Osage.
Yeah, I'm sure we
We
did,
did it.
but we
Yes,
have consensus
yes.
on it too.
So we consensus
So-
on 724 Potawatomi, 724 Osage, and then we did 701 Potawatomi, and then we did, allowed the rezoning of it, and then 711 Ottawa, and then we did the changing of the permit to 711 Ottawa. So we consent on all of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
aye.
Ah, yay.
That's it.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
back, Amy, we'll, yeah.
Weeks, right?
We'll have 2 more of these for it.
Okay, consent agenda. That's now you, right, Commissioner Martin?
Yeah.
Oh, it is,
Yes.
yeah, forgot.
It's your new job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, I move to approve the claims for December 6th, 2024 through January 9th, 2025 in the amount of $4,576,655.49. Net amount for longevity pay effective December 6th, 2024 in the amount of $42,128.05. Net amount for payroll number 25 effective date December 13th, 2024 in the amount of $437,197.59. No police and fire pension, and payroll number 26 effective December 27th, 2024 in the amount of $429,354.84 includes police and fire pension in the amount of $7,491.38.
Good job. You do that very
Yeah,
well.
you do that very well.
Second,
Trip over those numbers all the
All
time.
right, can I get a second?
second.
All right,
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot here.
all right, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengula.
Aye.
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 All right. Okay, well, let's go around. Scott, do you have anything?
I don't think I have anything, but if you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer them. Cool.
Do you have anything? All right.
I don't think so.
I have some questions.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Let's talk snowstorm.
Okay.
So I got a lot of questions. We did such a great job of getting all the information out about emergency snow routes before the storm came, and we did a great job. And then afterwards, a lot of people asked me why there were still cars on the emergency snow routes and why we didn't tow them, why we didn't ticket them. And then after you answer that one, can you move on to sidewalks?
Sure.
So we did the same thing. We put out something about sidewalks, and then people are letting, why aren't you ticketing them? Are you going to ticket them? So what are some of those answers?
Sure. So starting with the cars on the street, when our snow policy states that when we declare a snow emergency, which is city manager's purview or the police chief, which we did for this storm, obviously, the city has the right to tow a vehicle. It does not say that we're going to go out there and start towing vehicles. If you imagine we've got 39,000 residents. We do ask people to move their cars off of streets, but obviously many do not or are unable to. So we only move those vehicles that are either really in the way of our snow plows, that do not allow emergency access, or are blocking access to an ambulance or a fire truck. Say for example, in the middle of a snowstorm, hopefully it doesn't happen, but somebody has a heart attack and fire department can't get down a street to get to them because there's a car blocking the way. We have the right to tow that away. For whatever reason. So we are not calling tow trucks to just drive around and drive people's cars off the street. That would be very cost prohibitive, but also just kind of a waste of our time and resources. So I guess probably better messaging to state, we are not patrolling to look for cars to tow, but we have the right to move it if you're in the way.
Well, and it's safer for the car if it's moved out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes things happen and sometimes snow plows end up hitting cars. So.
Correct.
And they get snowed in.
We still certainly encourage everybody to get the car off the road if they can. We received a lot of complaints about residents who live downtown who only have on-street parking. We certainly would encourage those residents to move their vehicles into the city-owned parking lots. There's plenty of those around. You will not get towed out of that during a snowstorm, so they're certainly safe to move their vehicle there during prior to a snowstorm, hopefully, but at least until a plow gets there. That would keep them from getting their cars buried and also getting hit or for whatever reason. As to the sidewalks, we certainly understand that complaint. We did receive a number of complaints of, you expect us to shovel our sidewalk, but then you bury it after we shovel it. I would start by saying, we are not unreasonable. We understand that 24 to 48 hours after a snowstorm, our plows are still going to be operating and are still going to put a lot of snow off to the side of the road. We received a lot of questions why we can't pile snow in the middle of the road. That is so that we can maintain emergency access down streets, which is our primary concern, and that would impede that. So we have to push it to the side of the road. I would never, we're not going to go out and aggressively tell people to shovel those sidewalks either right during or immediately after a snowstorm. That's just, we understand that we're going to put more snow on the sidewalks. We're not going to yell at people to immediately shovel their sidewalks right after a storm. I think, we take into account the severity of the storm, the importance of the access route. Obviously when we ask people to shovel their sidewalks, we prioritize those emergency snow routes and then routes to schools. Things or heavily trafficked areas, people that live in, off the beaten path residential neighborhoods, where people don't really use the sidewalks. Obviously, we don't prioritize those. It's more about understanding and being a good neighbor and realizing that there are people that do use those sidewalks, and who do complain when the sidewalks aren't shoveled. So there is the other side of that community that we have to consider. As to, are we going around ticketing people? They follow the same exact code violation process that we do for, say, if you don't mow your grass or your paint is peeling off your house, you receive a letter from code enforcement, and I believe you're given 10 days. In most situations, the snow is going to have melted by then anyways. In this current storm, that may not be the case. So I will, just advise that, again, code enforcement is going to be prioritizing the emergency snow routes, routes to school, things like that. So if anybody lives along those routes, your sidewalk, you'll probably want to pay particular attention to it. At the same time, no, we're not going to go ticketing, grandmas and making them pay exorbitant fines. We're just asking that we keep the sidewalks clear where they need to be.
And what about downtown?
Same principle applies. Yes, businesses are responsible for the sidewalks adjacent to their building. I understood that some businesses did open up pretty quickly after the snowstorm and were frustrated by the lack of response. We had a contractor plan to come in by the time the storm had ended to come and remove the snow, and I think that helped quite a bit after that. And I will take ownership for not making that more abundantly clear to the businesses downtown. We'll be sure to correct that in the next storm. But in the meantime, I would say the same thing to business owners. If you don't want to shovel multiple times, don't go out there and shovel until you're sure that we're done plowing. I understand people want people to have access to your business, but we have to put the snow somewhere. And then when you get 12 to 14 inches in 24 hours, there's only so many places the snow can go. I genuinely feel like our crew did a really good job, handled it very well, and it was a lose-lose situation. No matter where you put the snow, you're going to make somebody mad. And so I really do think that our contractors and our crews did a great job. And I do understand the frustration from business owners and residents, but we did the best that we could.
And we only have this
Thank you for
once
that.
every 20 years or something.
Yeah, it's
so.
like the fourth largest storm, so, yeah, and I want to thank you for that, and thank to our crews and our contractors. One last question.
Sure.
Because I get them. So when we contracted the snow contractors, the plowers, it's not curb to curb, or is it curb to curb, or is it just straight down the middle for the emergency? I mean, what does that contract say, or what is?
So the contractor's priority, and if Brian is still here, he can come answer probably any more detail than I can, but the contractor's priority is the emergency access. So when we call them in the middle of the storm, they're making one pass and they're moving on. So in case a fire truck or an ambulance can get through. And then after that, the city will come back and do curb to curb as best we are able. But again, with a storm of this nature, we're not gonna get it. And then you, as we mentioned, there are cars that are still parked on the street, so the plows can't get curb to curb many times. So, and that's kind of, anything to add to that, or?
No, that's pretty much it. Especially on some of the older parts of town where you have cars parked on both sides, you can only get one pass.
Right.
And so you
They're
turn your
narrow.
blade as sharp as you can so you don't hit the cars, and one side of the road, the cars get absolutely buried, and the other side, not so much. And there's really nothing we can do about it at that point until the cars are moved.
Okay, and then how is trash? So are we back on?
We're collecting trash. We are running into a challenge with poly cards that are buried in the snow drifts. And so some of those we are not picking up if it's a danger to our employees, whether it's a slip and fall concern. We're not picking that up right now.
Okay.
That just can't afford to get my guys hurt.
Can we communicate that out somehow?
Sure.
Because I'm getting, why wasn't my trash picked up? And
Yeah.
I don't have a reason. I mean, I can assume it probably wasn't.
There was something that went out before. I saw that.
We did send
Your
an
card-
update.
Last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went out
If
once.
your card's
But we'll be
out
sure to
in the
read-
snow,
yeah.
to be sure to dig it out.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Okay. Any? Oh.
Yeah, no, just a quick question, because, and I think just item 9, Madam Mayor, tonight, when we took a vote, I think you were a no vote on that, and we're just in January, getting ready to kick off a bunch, more votes for the year. So I was just curious, like, if you saw something that was concerning to you, I know we voted on it, that would be good to talk about, going forward for anything. Was it like process off or anything like that you felt we need to revisit next time or anything like that, or?
Just the no vote on that.
Okay. I just want to ask, because I know we're going to have probably a lot more of these like that, so if there's anything that would be informative, I mean, that would be cool. Excuse me. And then just last thing, I know we did the mayoral appointments tonight, and everybody was, aye and everything like that. I know we talked a little bit in the past, because there'll be a lot more of these this year too. And Commissioner Wilson, I know you made a comment about, what does a vetting process look like? I think it varies all the time. But maybe just want to bring it up, for consideration, if there's something we want to look at, as we're incorporating any appointments, going through a vetting process or anything like that, standardizing something more, just moving forward.
We are able to look at their applications. So, I mean, anything you're concerned about, you can go back to the clerk's office and look at the application.
So how I worked with Sarah, and for most of these, I think almost
Yeah, a lot
all
of
of them
reappointment.
they were reappointments, or that I went back to, because I've never worked with deer management before, so I asked the chair, and they they're the ones that kind of gave the recommendation of, and helped find someone. A lot of these people I actually I've never met, they just were already on there and reappointed them. So that's kind of, I worked with Sarah closely, and then she worked with each one of the chairmen or chairwomen of the committee. Do you have anything to add, that how else we did that process? That was.
No, so I think, most people, like Mayor Pittman said, a lot of the appointments were reappointments, and she had advised, if somebody is looking to continue to serve, I'm happy to make that reappointment unless there's any issue with that, which nothing was brought up. And then I think some of the new appointments where we did receive an application for one that was passed along for the mayor to make that determination if she was going to bring forward that appointment or not. And then some of the other new ones were presented from other, recommendations from other members on that board of, hey, I know somebody who wants to be on the airport advisory board. I know that was one that came through from another member on that board. Just not exactly to the point of peer management. We don't have, it's not a rip-roaring board, so.
Well, and I've always asked too, is this the person that is going off? Are they going to the meetings? Are they participating in the process? And if that's the case, if they're not showing up at the meetings, then, we'll get somebody who will participate.
And just to add to that, I don't think there were any additional applications being submitted. These were vacant, like the one appointment.
The one was,
It was just
Maxwell
one.
was the only one.
And so it's different, and I hear what you're saying, but it's just like if there's multiple applications regarding what you were talking about last year. If there's applications, multiple, and they're just sitting there, and we're just waiting, I think that's something worth reviewing.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure, you know, from a full transparency standpoint, you know, if there's any that would be, you know, I mean, like one of these, you know, could be perceived to be political or not. But it's like, if there's a process we can follow and we standardize it, that's not a problem. You know, we're being consistent in how we, you know, look at these and approve the appointments and stuff like that. Everything that's within your prerogative to appoint and stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that,
mean,
so.
I think the only applicant that I got that wasn't like a reappointment was the planning, and I don't believe that was political, I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine with it, I just, it came up a couple times last year, so I'm like, if, you know, and I know Commissioner Wilson, you mentioned like, well, you know, we need to be able to go through a vetting process sometimes, and so anyway, again, it's January, so I didn't know what everybody's thoughts were on that, if there's a way we could standardize that more.
I just say, man, if there's multiple applications, that person will be informed, and if they want to come, speak to the commission and say, hey, I believe I'm the best candidate. Hey, I extend the invitation, you know what I mean? So, but I don't think that's the problem.
Well, in some cases too, on some of these, like the planning and zoning, it's good to have people who are qualified to do that, you know, and I mean, we've had former Fort engineers, you know, that served on the planning and zoning commission. And the plumbing advisory board has to be a plumber, you know, there are different boards that are required to have certain qualifications, so we, you know, we look at that as they're coming through, the mayor does as it comes through, as you did. So, I mean, you have the option to do that.
But back to your first question, I do think it's bad practice to have to, I don't think any of us should have to explain our votes.
No.
I don't know if there's a rule on that, or.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's open to discussion up here. I know we talked about that a little bit, Commissioner Wilson, in times past and stuff like that, and, you know, we'll share comments and different things where we stand on things, but, no, that's fine. But just cover that, and thank you also for all of the clearing of the streets you guys got knocked out. We ended up just moving our trash can behind our van. And lastly, happy birthday, Nancy.
Thank you. And I don't have anything to add to that, so thank you all very much.
Oh, me? Yeah, I want to give you my personal thanks, Mr. Faust. The job that you guys did, and I've heard from citizens, okay, and business people, right, about the removal of snow. And, you know, when you consider how much snow there was, where are you going to put it? It's not like we used to, you know, the city used to have, and you could tell me if this is true, I was told that the city used to have basically a pier kind of thing where
I know, I
Snow
live on a
could be-
dead-end street,
what-
it might be 4 or 5 days before I get out. When I first moved to my house 20 years ago, it was that way.
Yeah, but,
And this time it
but I'm
was
told
plowed the
that
first
we
day.
would load it in trucks, take it down to the river and dump it into the river.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a place you could put it. This past weekend, or 2 weekends ago, right, there was no place to put it. But you guys figured it out, and I appreciate that. I really do. And also, there's nobody here from the police department, but I really appreciate what the police department did, you know, while they were at it, you know, trying to make sure that people weren't getting themselves in trouble, so to speak. So,
They used to pile it at Leavenworth, the old Leavenworth Plaza, and we'd go climb on it, so.
why don't we anymore?
I did my
Is
slaying
that
at
because it's
Stubby
private
Park.
property now, you know?
I don't know. Anyway, that's
Because
what
you don't
we
want to
did.
find what's at the bottom of those mountains when they
Yeah.
melt.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't.
Commissioner Wilson?
Martin Luther King Day is coming up on Monday. I know there's going to be many people getting the day off. Please use that as an opportunity to be able to serve your neighbors, serve your community, and help make a difference. God bless, and hope you all have a great week, and
Yeah,
Happy
do you
New Year.
Do you want to talk about the play that you're in?
Well, I'll talk about the play, yes. There is a Martin Luther King Day, the NAACP is putting on a play on Sunday at 3 o'clock, at 3 o'clock. And it is at St. Mary University. And it is about the Oblate sisters who started the first black orphanage in Leavenworth. And there are kids and adults and that are in the play and that are going to be narrating, and it's going to be great. So If you want to come out, you can contact me, or you can get tickets at the Richard Allen Cultural Center. So,
And
anyway,
you're
thank
starring
you.
in it, right?
I'm not starring, I'm an extra.
Hey,
There's no such,
I'm a villain, I'm sorry.
there are no small roles, there are only
That's right.
small
They
actors.
told me to be mean, but it was hard to be mean, talking about an orphanage. Anyway.
well, once again, I want to thank the crews from last weekend. They did a great job, and staff, thank you so much. I know it's not easy work, and it was long hours, and it was cold, and so thank you so much. And with that, everybody have a safe week. Don't slip on the ice, and we'll see you next week.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, or
Aye.
start?
Aye.
Aye. All right.